Hey guys, and welcome to Armchair Conversation with Rob. Did some videos back a while ago on the importance of foundation and got a wild hair about how do we build a foundation, got some ideas, wanted to share. So now we're on step 3 of those ideas. First step was desire, literally wanting it bad enough to do what you need to do to get it. Step 2 was defining it to get as clear as you can in the moment about exactly what it is you want. And that also included tangible specifics and the feelings you expect to get. Third step, though, is where we're at now, and we're at the plan. Okay, figure out what parts you need, including skills, people, time, etc., to build the damn thing. Your defined goal. Include your circumstances, which can lead to success or failure, also, and what's crucial and what's not. So, you started with the defining as far as getting clear as you can in the moment about what it was that you wanted. And you started with the tangible specifics in that step. Now, the plan, though, is where you have to actually look at the things you said you needed and start to figure out how to place them in an order that's going to end in the result that you want. And so that's where you have to mix the tangible aspects of the things you need as far as quote unquote the parts, along with the skills that you need, the people, the time. And for time in particular, I'm also thinking about circumstances, you know, because if you want to sell ice cream sandwiches as a side business and you go out in the middle of the winter trying to do that, well, you may have had the desire, you may have defined exactly what it is that you wanted, and you might even be able to get the feelings that you wanted from that process, but you've picked the wrong time and the circumstance to make that happen versus selling them in the summer in a refrigerated cart, refrigerated truck, your own store. Bam! All of a sudden, you got money coming in because the time and circumstance was right, not just the parts. So, that goes back also to things like the people and skills. Skills more so even than the people, because sometimes you may have to do some things alone. You may not have supporters. You may have detractors, if anything, people who don't want you to do what you want to do, and people who will make fun of you, try to ridicule you, try to embarrass you, push you away from doing what you want to do, and try to stop you. There are going to be times when you have that kind of stuff. So sometimes the people equation can be there or not be there. But skills and time and the parts, yeah, those are pretty much non-negotiable. So within the skill set, you sometimes may have to go out and acquire new skills to use the parts that you need. Because, okay, if you want to be a doctor and you have this plan that means says you have to be a surgeon, well, you are probably going to have to acquire some new skills. Not too many people just walk out and decide to be a doctor and can make that work. So we start with the skills set. Whatever it is, you may need to learn to swim because you want to teach scuba, or you may need to learn to hang glide because it's something you want to teach. You may have to go out and learn martial arts if you want to teach self-defense to people. You know, you may, if you want to be a bodyguard, you may have to learn martial arts. If you want to be a physical model, you know, you may have to go out and learn how to get in shape and do what models do to look that way. You may have to learn to sew if you want to become a designer until you have a team behind you, and that's where people come in. So, step 3 is planning, figuring out what parts you need. Now, you also have to kind of figure out what's crucial and what's not in every stage of that, whether it's the parts, the skills, the people. You may need to learn to sew, but you may not need to become a master embroiderer to make your first pair of designer pants. Okay. You may have to learn to swim, but you may not have to learn to like deep sea dive with the super breath holding that you find in the Far East with the divers there in order to teach swimming or become a lifeguard. Okay. You have to figure out what's crucial and what's not to the skill sets, even to the type of people that you have. And sales is a perfect example of the people thing being crucial or not. Because you can have a business with the best product in the world, but if you have a storefront and you have shitty salespeople, it doesn't matter how good that product is. If they piss off enough people, you will not make money. Okay? There are instances where a product is so good that people won't care, but that's very rare, especially among, well, my generation, these older folks, because we're going to go in a store and we're going to remember how we're treated more than we're going to remember anything else about that store. And if that salesperson was you know what, I don't care. I'll go buy it somewhere else for more, or I may not buy it at all now because of that. So sales is a place where people's crucial and skills are crucial. They got to know how to talk to you. They got to know how to present the product. They got to know how to close that sale. So step three is the plan. Figure out what parts you need and the skills, the people, the time. You know, when it comes to executing a plan, if your plan requires you to be able to see, you can't necessarily go in the dark and not also have planned to bring like infrared or night vision goggles. Okay. You have to be willing to include circumstances, and you have to be willing to identify or define the circumstances that are going to lead to success and the ones that could lead to failure. Because if you don't do both and plan the contingencies, because a plan isn't just about succeeding, a plan also needs to have elements that are responses to challenges or obstacles. You may not need them, you may not use them specifically, but they need to be in there. So you can't just have a plan that is all about you winning with no opposition and no obstruction. You have to be able to plan for that. It's just like in sales, you have to plan for people saying no and rejecting you and not really necessarily meaning it, but you have to talk them into buying something. Well, a plan is the same when it comes to execution of acquiring a goal, whether it's your foundational goals or not. It's still a part of the whole plan because you have to be able to plan for contingencies. That's why there's a plan. Just in case this doesn't work, then this we gonna do. Okay. So step three, plan, figuring out what exactly that you need and what kind of skills, people, and time and circumstances that you need. And so that will move us on to the next step, which you have to tune in for later. Thanks, guys, for sharing my armchair. I appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing, subscribe to my channel. If you don't, search engines are there. You'll find what you need. But I do appreciate you stopping by. So in the meantime, I want you guys to have a blessed day whenever and wherever you are.